Karen Holton TV presents the Quantum Guide Show, featuring ordinary people sharing their extraordinary gifts within our social reality. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Quantum Guide Show and Happy New Year. I hope that you all did very well in 2025 and do even better in 2026. That is my sincere wish and hope for all of you. So today is the last day of 2025, and joining me are all the people who want to come and hang out and talk about the lessons that we learned from the movie called Enemy Mine. If you haven't seen it, I am sure you would love it as much as I did. So basically, on Christmas Day, I hung out with family, stuffed my face silly, and watched some movies. One of them was Enemy Mine, and I went, oh my God, we need to talk about this. And so that's what we're going to jump into today. So I guess what I could say is we've been programmed to believe in a dichotomy where we're divided by religious, political, economic, geographic, and many other belief systems, which keep us separated and at odds with each other. So I'm inviting all of you to join us in the live chat to share your views and your learnings. I want to take a moment to give a special thank you to Denise, my moderator, and thank you to all the folks who watch or listen to my content, like my episodes, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and other channels. For those special people who have joined my community and participate in the live chats, you guys rock my world. And best wishes and much appreciation to all those of you who bought my books. Thank you so much. All of the links are featured below in the description, so please do check me out, subscribe to my channels, leave me a comment, like my videos, and please do share my content with your friends. And I want everybody to know that you can join our community by becoming a YouTube channel member. You'll get to take advantage of some of my perks, and certainly it will go a long way to help to support this channel. Before we get started, let's take a look in the live chat. And we've got Helena. Hi, Helena. How you doing? How did you do over Christmas? Nice to see you. And of course, we've got Denise. Denise is my amazing moderator, and she's such a great job for me, to the point where now I wonder, what would I do without you, Denise? You are awesome. Thank you so very, very much. Denise has put on here the link for buymeacoffee.com/Karen Holton TV if you'd like to make a donation. Help me out with my expenses. New year means having to pay again for StreamYard, YouTube Premium, Rumble X. I get the premiums because then I'm verified and it lets my audience know I'm a real deal. I'm not AI, I'm not some faker. I'm the real deal, and you can depend on that. I maintain a website, all kinds of expenses. So I won't bore you with all the details, and I won't grovel and beg, because I know a lot of you just are finding it a challenge to put food on the table and pay the rent and the utilities. So I get it. But for those of you who are able, thank you in advance. And Denise has put in the live chat, welcome all. Please hit the like button, share out, and subscribe. Thank you very much. And she also extends a happy new year to everybody. And Alina, hi, Alina. I get such a kick out of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Now I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Oh my God, we got Fearlessly Phoenixing 6498 is in the house. Welcome, girlfriend. So nice to see you. Helena's saying Happy New Year from Sweden. And let's see, who else have we got in here today? Fearlessly says, hey, beautiful people. And oh my gosh, you've never heard of Enemy Mind. Oh God, you're going to love the program. You are going to love this program. And if you do love it, which I think you will, please do share it out. Yes. And fearlessly also recognizes the extreme value of our dear friend Denise, the beautiful Denise, who keeps the links, the chats, and so much more going for us and keeping it a safe place for all. Absolutely. Uh, yep. And fearlessly helps out when Denise can't make it. And that is awesome too. Denise says, I love you, Karen. Dude, Denise, big virtual hug to you. I can't wait for January 11th when she will be joining me along with Fearlessly and Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. And it is going to be an awesome program where I get to hang out in on screen with my dear, dear friends. Kristen, oh my God, thank God you're here. You are also welcome on the 11th if you want to be on the stage and be up here with the rest of us, hanging out, sharing your opinions and your wonderful thoughts from your very beautiful mind. Okay, I think I've covered, oh, one more. Fearlessly says, I didn't know I help out, but I'm glad I have made some impact even just by being here. Love to you all. Fearlessly, you are amazing. Every program you go on, you support it 100%. Ryan Burns has Hero Paranormal, and I've seen you many times on his show and other shows that are the more, well, what I would call interesting shows out there. You're awesome. You're very supportive. You're very community minded. And I also love you very much too, along with Kristen and everybody else. You guys are amazing. So, with all of that, and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a Happy Hanukkah and whatever else I missed, I believe in all of it. So, I just wish you all the very, very best. Okay, Enemy Mine is the most awesome movie I think I have ever seen. And it's more important to consider the theme and the plot of the movie now more than ever. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's got Dennis Quaid in it and I think Luke Gossett Jr., I'm not sure, play the two main characters. So, basically at the beginning of the movie there are two completely different worlds that are at war with each other. I don't know how it started, but it gets ugly, and on each side the propaganda is that the other group of humanoids are the problem, are troublemakers, have to be stopped. Oh my God, Lordy, the sky is falling. We got to kill the enemy. And so one of the humanoids is very what we would consider reptilian in looks, in culture, in everything. And of course, Dennis Quaid plays a white American guy, but in the future. And there are these mining operations all over the galaxy, and they're either dominated by the Earth humans or they're dominated by these reptilians. They call them Dracs in the movie. But the real problem is probably the pirates and the bad people who have slaving operations. And what they're doing is just sort of adding to the hate between these two races of humanoids. And we live in a world very much like that today. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have, that everybody is at war with everybody. So if it isn't your political party, left versus right, and they take extreme polarization and they paint the opposite as being evil, bad, nefarious, crooked, disingenuous, every negative, horrible thing that you could propagate towards the opposite is what is done in our culture and all over the world. And so you've got all kinds of political influences, let's say left versus right or whatever, and we're all getting a constant stream of propaganda that tells us this is a righteous war. We're killing bad people and we got to do this to save the galaxy. Well, here, save the planet. And it's very much like in the movie Enemy Mine. So, long story short, the humanoids hate the Dracs, just hate them, kill them, do anything they can to destroy them. And the Dracs, although it's debatable whether they have the same propaganda, they see the humans as being the problem. And so they're at out and out war, and they're out in space shooting each other down and blowing up their mining operations, and it's all horrible. So I'm just going to check in with the chat. It's called Enemy Mine, Mine, as though it belongs to me. The enemy belongs to me, but it's also a double play on words because it involves all these mining operations on all of these different planets. Yes, probably 1985 is when it came out. And yeah, I'm sure you will love it. So anyway, the story progresses, and here there's an Earth guy played by Dennis Quaid, and he's shooting it out in sort of outer space with this Drac guy, and they end up crashing into each other and both getting tumbled down to this fairly desolate and hostile planet. And the first thing Dennis Quaid does is he tracks down the Drac guy and finds a ship and then makes plans to screw him over any way he can because it's justified, because the propaganda says that the Drac is your enemy. And so Dennis Quaid goes out and destroys the guy's fuel and his ship and starts stealing his food supply, and the Drac guy catches him, and they end up fighting and basically realizing they're stuck down there together and their survival depends on cooperation. Now, I think we on Earth are getting to this point. And at this point, there's still all their ill conceived ideas about each other. They're still hating each other and thinking the best thing they could do is kill each other. But even though the Drac guy seems to have a bit of an advantage over the human, he doesn't cruelly kill the human. And they end up finding out that they have to cooperate, and they start teaching each other language. So it's English, which I know is very stereotypical, but for the human, and is the Drac language for the Drac guy. And eventually, they start to see each other differently. Instead of seeing them as hated enemies, they start seeing their commonality, sense of humor, ingenious ways of cooperating. And eventually, Dennis Quaid asks the Drac guy to teach him about his spirituality, because obviously in this programming, Dennis Quaid, the Earth guy, is not very spiritual. The Drac guy is super spiritual. And so he asks the Drac guy to share with him about his religion. And the Drac guy teaches him about his religion. And at this point, they become closer than brothers. They realize that they've both fallen for the propaganda, the misinformation, the fake news, the false flags, everything, just like what's going on here on Earth. And they become very, very close to each other. And the rest of the show is so beautiful and so heartwarming. I think it would really touch all of you if you make the time to watch or rewatch that particular movie. Now, there's more to it, but from this point, I want to just quickly bounce over to the live chat and see what my friends have to say. Kristen says, I'm going to go back and watch it again. It's been 20 years since I've seen it. Absolutely. Definitely worth the rewatch. Such a well done movie for that long ago, too. Fearlessly says, to me, makes me think of when two people are fighting but won't confront one another face on, to realize that the big big perceptions they have of one another and the perceptions they've obtained via others are not the truth. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I see 2026 as being us humans coming to this understanding and realization here on earth. Because let's face it, guys, if it isn't your political party, it's your country of origin. Oh, our country is better. Oh, we're the most powerful. We're the best people on earth. And the other countries saying the same thing. If it isn't that, it's your religion. My religion is truth. I'm the only one that worships the true God and my fellow believers, and the rest of you are all wrong and you're all going to hell or wherever. We see the difference in religion. Even in my own town, I could go across the street to one church and they'll tell me they're the only true religion. They're the only ones that have it right. They're the only ones that are pleasing to God. I'll go across the street to another church and they're saying the same thing, but they have different requirements. And on it goes. Then if it isn't that, it's your maybe your geographic location within your country. Oh, our area is better than yours. Uh, on it goes. Then there is even the rich and the poor. The poor are despised. And I'm not talking about the middle classes. The poor are survivors, incredible survivors, no matter what country you live in on this planet, are survivors because they're taking the shit from all the different echelons above them and they're being scapegoated, targeted, because I'm going to tell you a little secret. Poverty is always legislated. I'm going to repeat that. Poverty is always legislated. It's not an accident. You've done nothing wrong, and it's not from a moral shortcoming. So then there's all of that. And if it isn't that, it's whether or not you're old or you're young. The young people think they're so with it, they know everything. And us old people, oh, well, we may as well go do the MAID program, which in Canada is big business. The medical assisted suicide kills more people than anything else in Canada. And it's sort of a cover for the organ transplant, illegal organ, or maybe legal, I don't know, organ transplant or harvesting. And then if it isn't that, it's whether you're skinny or fat. And fat people have always taken the brunt. And I know because I spent most of my adult life being a large woman, over 320 pounds. I know what it's like to be made fun of, to not be taken seriously. You get treated like you're a little bit retarded. Oh, you don't know how to eat. You don't know how to feed yourself. You let yourself get so fat. You know what I'm saying? And on and on and on and on and on it goes. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all of it, and I will not participate in it. So you see, no matter what, we're just divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. In the meantime, very few people are happy, fulfilled, or even truly spiritual. Millions and probably billions of people are being murdered all over the place. And this planet is not functioning the way it should. So I'm here to give it a little spanking. Smarten up, guys. Watch Enemy Mine. So in the movie, I'm just going to go back to the movie a little bit. In the movie, it turns out that the Dracs are asexual, meaning they have male and female. When the time is right in their maturity cycle, they get pregnant by themselves and they produce offspring. And Dennis Quaid, by this time, him and the Drac are very close friends, closer than brothers. And he finds out that his Drac buddy is pregnant. At first, it's a big shock, right? But he comes adjusted to it. And then his Drac friend dies in childbirth. And the human guy now raises the Drac baby as his own, like a foster adopted son. And they become very, very, very close. Then there's some other stuff. Things go sideways big time. And then in the end, there's a very good ending to the story. So don't be afraid to watch it. It is lovely. And I think it's a metaphor for what we're going through right now. I really, really do. Now, I want to go to the chat to my amazing friends here, and I want to find out what your comments are. What do you guys think? Do you think that the problem really is the programming and being lied to and being set up against each other? Or do you think like there might be some evil beings and people on this planet, but I'm going to tell you something. Even the people we blame for everything, which would be the most people with the most power and money on the planet, if you really understood their genetics, their programming, their socialization, their culture, you would feel sorry for them because their lives are not good. They are not doing very well at all. And they're certainly not happy, not fulfilled, and they're certainly not spiritually blessed. So just going to throw that out there. Not that I'm taking their side. The parasite class needs to wake up, but we need to stop giving them our power too. So let me just have a look back in the chat here. Fearlessly Phoenixing 6498 says, it's the most dangerous thing that can happen for those who tell us to fight, is for those to meet and realize one and the same, and both are being used not for freedom, but as pawns to another's game. Very well said. And I'm going to read these out so that those that are listening on audio can also benefit from the comments and suggestions and words of those lovely people that I'm so blessed to have in the chat. Fearlessly also says it reminds me of the movie Winter on Fire, where it was of Ukraine back in 2014-15, I think, but where soldiers had to choose, are they fighting for the people or their country, and chose to cross. Helena says, just staying home watching fireworks with my girlfriend, eating good food. Was thinking about going out. Fire of the shotgun, but to Coldplay. Not really sure what you're saying here, but it sounds like it's going to be a good time for you today. Fearlessly says, in line, because their true internal vow was to serve and protect the people, not the property owners, by the game players used as pawns to obtain the riches and the rights of the people. Oh, yes, absolutely. I always say, follow the money. You want to know what's going on? Follow the money. That's what I say. And I'll tell you who I also like is Catherine Austin Fitts. She used to be work for the American government, very wise, and she's got a lot of very interesting things to say. Fearlessly says poverty is constructed. The reality is that as a society, we as humans are living an illusion of freedom when in fact it's slavery, just with different levels of owners. You're right. You're right. What can I say? Fearlessly also says, I love how fired up Karen is about this. One of my greatest passions is the messages that come through entertainment. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm totally inspired by entertainment. Well, the entertainment that I can stomach, some of it's just too gory for me. Although I do watch a streaming channel called Silver Dagon for anyone who's interested. It's a YouTube. He has a YouTube channel and he plays video games and then he records it. He's really quite hilarious, and I like to watch him play video games because then I find out which video games I might like to play or might not like to play, and I learn a lot. But it's also I find very enjoyable because he's so funny. That's Silver is SYLVERDAGON on YouTube if you like video games. But when it comes to real life killing and brutality, I can't stomach it. I can't stomach cruelty to animals. And I'm a meat eater and I suffer for my choices because I know that a lot of the animals are cruelly treated. So the best I can do is try to rely on humane sources of foods, but that is one thing that I wish I had tried being vegan in the past. I got very ill. My body just can't handle it, and I don't know what to say about that. I'm not going to apologize. I've already apologized to the animals, but I'm just saying, um, yeah. So let's see who else we have here. Ah, Denise. She says, I'm staying home with my dog, nice and cozy. Oh, awesome. Me too. I'll be in bed by 8 o'clock tonight. Then I'll wake up at midnight when the fireworks go off, and I'll go, well, I guess it's the new year now, and go back to sleep. That's what I do every year. I'm not good at staying up late. And I'm sure no party animal in my older years. Let's see. Fearlessly says, thanks, Denise. I'm able only to share because of the amplification that all of you bring and the safe space you all provide to allow me to share without fear. Oh, that is the goal. Absolutely, that is the goal. I created this channel and these podcasts because they are what I needed back 20 years ago. And I thought, well, what would I like? What would help me? Well, I need a safe place. I need to have my own opinions and not have people jump all over me or dump on me because I think differently or I hold a different perspective. That was really important for me. And so I'm so grateful because the live chat has been so successful. Why? Because of the people who show up, the energy they bring. I love you all, and I'm just very, very, very grateful. Oh, yes, that's close to my heart. Fearlessly Phoenixing says, I only watch what I'm called to watch. And in truth, 98% of what I watch is anime. I can't recommend anime enough. And the funny thing about anime, regardless of what genre or storyline or plot or theme, I find I have to watch at least 4 episodes before I get connected to the storyline or the message. So I'll start watching and I'll go, I don't really relate to this. And then I'll watch another episode and I go, yeah, it's interesting because it's so different. I'm a product of the 1950s. It's just so different than anything I was raised on, right? So by the third episode, I start going, oh, this is intriguing. And by the fourth episode, I'm hooked and I have to watch the anime series right to the end. And there's so much different kind of anime that if you don't like one, there's always another. But I recommend watching 4 episodes until you really get into the storyline, and it's brilliant. What I love about anime is the cinematography or the animation is very simple. So it lets you focus on the message. And it's actually, I enjoy it most when I watch it in the language of origin, for instance, Japanese, and then read the subtitles for what's actually being said. But but there are times when I'm just not with it enough to do both, and then I'll just listen to it dubbed in English. But I always keep an eye on the subtitles because they're more accurate than the English dubbing. And a lot of anime is very profound. So you want to open your mind, absolutely start watching anime. Thank you so much, Fearlessly, for bringing that up. I'm just looking where I left off in the chat. Denise says, it goes to show you how movies are depicting the truth if you only listen. Coincidences? I don't think so. Fearlessly says, I'm so grateful between our extended family's farm and my husband who hunts. Like we got our moose this fall, and my goodness, the gratitude for such beauty. And we always give thanks. Oh, it's incredible. I am also in Canada, and one of my favorite wild meats is moose. Moose is delicious, absolutely delicious. I find deer meat a little bit on the gamey end, but moose is good. And when you kill a wild animal, it's had a good life, and it's time for it to leave this planet and may as well serve as extremely good, healthful food for those of us who need it to sustain our lives. So I think that's beautiful. Generally, hunters are not cruel people. The hunters that I have met, they hunt properly. They kill very cleanly with a shot through the heart, sometimes through the brain, whatever, instant kill, put that animal so it's not, you know, undergoing a lot of fear and they're not chasing it all over. And, most hunters are very, very good at what they do. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. I think we can get wild game at our local market, but boy, is it expensive. Whew. But anyway, Fearlessly says, honestly, I wish my aunt was still here. She would have felt at home here, and maybe she would have been if there was the connection like here. Oh, that would be great. Fearless, yeah, yeah. Right. Anime, absolutely. And I love watching it over so that I can get messages and connections. It's amazing. Yeah, I can't recommend anime enough for those of you who've not taken a walk on the wild side. Yeah. And some of anime is pretty disturbing and some of it's pretty silly, but some of it's very food oriented. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. And yeah, I like it too. Fearlessly also says, like, I think you're talking about maybe Stargate. It was brought to me through synchronicity and it was everything I needed to hear, but also I was able to gain so much over so many times. Well, it might be Steins Gate. I'm not sure. So, yeah. That's one thing I do not appreciate about technology is that it thinks it knows what I'm going to say. It does not. In fact, nobody knows what I'm going to say. I don't even know what I'm going to say half the time. So I sure don't appreciate that predictive programming. Sure can screw up communication too. Just going to say it. Um, on the movements of the earth was just the most incredible and resonating piece of work I've ever seen. Wow. And she also says, and my husband hunts with intuition. Took a bit for him to trust in it, but he has always gained from the intuitive hunting. He's a bow hunter. Whoa, fearlessly. I had no idea. That's incredible. Mm. Let's see. Kristen. Kristen says, so grateful to spend time with you all. I often can't timely interact. I take care of my mom with dementia, awful disease. I always listen and read the comments. I interact when I can. Well, Kristen, bless you for taking care of your mom. I gotta say it. Thank you for taking care of your mom. That's one thing. Getting older is scary. I'm almost 70 years old. In 2 months, I'll be 70. And my son and his partner live in the basement. Not that way, not like a kid that lives in the basement. I'm actually the kid that lives upstairs. This is their house, and I rent the top floor from them. And they make sure that I'm well taken care of. They take me grocery shopping because I don't drive anymore. And, with the snow and everything, they're so, so good to me. So God bless all the people that are out there looking after their parents that are either not well or getting old. You guys are awesome. Oh, thank you for clarifying that fearlessly. She says, nope, it's not Stargate, it's Steinsgate. Steinsgate. Good to know. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. That's the name of the anime series. Okay, let's see what else you got. Yes, she's right. So when you watch anime, you will come to see the Mandela and the timelines and everything. Yeah, it's brilliant stuff. Whoever creates the anime, uh, wow. And it's another perceptual arena, it's another perceptual universe. So every anime series is different, completely different, but they all cover a part of what I would consider the multiverse. Um, Let's see. Kristen, we are all just grateful for your presence, and you being you is a blessing. Absolutely. And of course, Kristen gets lots of love from Denise. And Kristen says, I'm 64 and her mom is 82. We live on my son's property now. We have our own house. Aw, that's awesome. Oh, you will never regret the time and effort you put into your parents. Uh, it's so important. It's so important. It's kind of reverse because when we have children, right? And we take care of our children and our parents take care of us. And then when they get old or we get old, they take care. It switches. The roles switch. It's awesome. It's really, really awesome. Kristen says to everybody, thank you so much with lots of hearts and love. And fearlessly says, my goal is to have an acreage so I can ensure that my parents and my husband's parents can live with us. I'm so grateful that my husband has been a good man to help my parents in so many ways. Worth his weight in gold, more even. Kristen, you are a blessing and your strength is boundless. Oh, Kristen, thank you so much for the very generous super chat. You don't have to do that. I appreciate you so much, but thank you. You really help the channel a lot. I try not to beg or whine or complain, but sometimes, boy, it gets close to the cutoff for me trying to cover all the expenses. And I know that it's not you guys's job to financially make sure that I'm successful, but I have to tell you, if I wasn't doing the podcasting, I don't know what I'd do with myself. My mental health would not be as good. I love the fact that I can freely express everything I have to say and want to do. And the loving support from all of you is absolutely amazing. Thank you. And Kristen sends us lots of hearts and hands held high and a whole bunch of positive symbols. Fearlessly says, I will always remember the old commercial where the mom walks up the stairs carrying the child, and then it switches to the daughter carrying the mother. Oh, it's going to make me cry, guys. But yes, Kristen says, I want to help. Kristen, you are helping. And thank you again for taking care of your mom. So important. And I wanted to also mention where I'm going with this about enemy mine is we are now coming to the point, many of us already know we've had ET disclosure. We already know what's going on. We already know who we trust and intuitively believe and connect with. And now I think in 2026, you're going to meet ETs. I'd love to have ET on my podcast. Love it. I would love it, love it, love it. And usually I save my ET contact for my Sunday show, excuse me, which is called Aliens and Angels. If you haven't joined us for that, it's every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, noon Mountain, or 2 p.m. Eastern. But today, the reason I'm bringing this up on the last day of 2025 is because I really believe we're going to get some contact. And if I was ET, I would not want humans representing me. Just going to say it. Even though I wrote my book about my ET contact, it's from my perspective. I'm not their spokesperson. I'm not the grand poobah. I'm not a big expert. I just wrote about what I experienced. But I think all of you are going to get a glimpse at ET very soon. So my point is, if we can't get along as families, if we can't get along within municipalities, if we can't get along in regions, if we can't get along in states or provinces, if we can't get along in countries, if we can't get our shit together and get along with each other, how the hell are we planning to orient ourselves towards ET? Seriously. And if we haven't stepped out of the bullshit, the propaganda, the programming, the stuff that keeps us slaves, if we can't step out of that, how are we going to reach the level of maturity we need to reach to be able to engage meaningfully with ET, extraterrestrials, transdimensionals, or even cryptid terrestrials who we may think of as ETs, but have probably been here longer than humans? How are we going to do that? Please let me know, enlighten me, because I can't see it. It starts within the self. It starts with us becoming the kind of people we can live with and be happy with, that spreads out to the family. If we can't help our aged parents, if we can't help out each other, how are we going to help out when it comes time for us to do what's necessary to be able to create a more harmonious life here on earth? Seriously. And we need to learn to love ourselves at the core of all of this. And if you can't love yourself, it's time. It's time to start loving yourself. And then you start to love others. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes years of work. I'm not going to lie. It's not all, oh, airy fairy, I'm in the light and I'm in the love all the time. No, it means getting down and dirty with your own shadow, with our collective shadow. And I don't mean to just be beating you all over the head with a sermon here. That's not my point. But my point is, I was watching Enemy Mine on Christmas Day and I went, oh my God, that's exactly what's going on here on Earth today. And I want to highly recommend everybody go out and watch that movie. I'm just going to back up a little bit to hopefully where I left off in the live chat. And yes, let's have a look and see. Let's see. Fearlessly says, I was recently surprised. I have drawn certain symbols my whole life, and only recently I've searched the web many times looking for what the symbols could be. I finally found something 90% similar. Oh my God, I hope you're going to share it with us. Um, let's see. Kendron Chameleon 8456. Hello, Karen Holton. What do you and your guides know about the three IAETs? Can you have a telepathic chat with them that are inside the 3IA spaceship that looks like a giant meteor or meteorite? Now, I'm not sure if you are the Larry, but if you are, Larry and I've been chatting on Messenger, and he's a wonderful man and he has terrific insights. And I will tell you the honest truth, Larry, the honest truth. Well, I hope it's Larry. I may have the wrong person, but I'm pretty sure it is. Um, the honest truth is, I've heard nothing from my guides about 3I Atlas, which kind of surprised me. I'm not saying that there is or isn't beings aboard. It's pretty unlikely that it is a comet. Now we all kind of know that. But I believe actually Kevin Estrella, he's in touch with the Ponti. The Ponti are what we would consider grays, and they live in under a mountain in New Mexico. And they've had projects going on here on Earth for probably thousands of years. And he says that according to the Ponti, 3I Atlas was a test to see if we truly would freak out. So the powers that be here on Earth are going, oh no, we can't disclose, we can't disclose. Humans can't handle it. Humans can't handle it. They'd all freak out and they'd run amok and things would just be a big mess. Well, the truth is they should look in the mirror because they're the ones causing the big friggin' mess. But besides that, apparently 3I Atlas was a test. Nobody really has a deep understanding of the beings on board. Some know some know a little. I don't know. But I myself didn't get any directives whatsoever. And I sort of got the impression I'm supposed to stay neutral. But according to Kevin and Sue Walker, 3I Atlas was a test. So it came close enough, but not too close, just enough to let us know it was there, that they're there. And then it went on its merry way. Because it's sort of what they're doing is disclosing in increments to see how we take it. And I got to tell you, most people kind of just went, come on, do something. For so long. We've read all the books and we've heard all the stories, and when are we gonna say something? And that is the dominant perception from humans, not fear, not at all. So I thought I would just throw that out there, but that's the best I could do. I'm sorry, I don't make stuff up. I know you might think I do, but I don't. I only say what's real for me, and that is how it went. Okay, so let's get back to Fearlessly and her symbols. She says, and they are symbols found on alien artifacts, which blew my mind. You know what? It doesn't blow my mind, not at all. You know why? Because I believe millions and millions of us are having transdimensional contact while we're unconscious, while we're asleep. That's when it's easiest for us to make that kind of contact. We don't have all our preconceived notions coming in there and screwing things up, and our fears and all of that, and our programming, right? And we're much freer and, of course, relaxed, and it's much easier to detach from the physical creation and go onto the greater creation that is our birthright, guys, our birthright. Fearlessly says absolutely, Karen. And Denise says exactly. I do appreciate you guys backing up the things I say, but I also want you to know I would love you just as much if you disagree, because this is a safe place and you could express authentically. And if you can't do it here, where can you do it? Besides maybe the bathroom, but we're not going to talk about that. Okay, let's see. Fearlessly says that's like asking toddlers to go in and be lawyers and doctors when they can't even regulate themselves yet, let alone manage that diplomatic necessities. Absolutely. Denise says, I love it when Karen speaks her mind. Yeah, I do. I'm becoming braver. I used to sit very quietly, sit on my hands, interview people, try not to talk too much. Well, that's gone out the window. 2026, you're going to get a lot more of me, I'm afraid. But thank God we're friends and you guys are not too judgmental. Thank you. Thank you. Kristen says, I'm curious as to what you think about the boogosphere. Spelling is not right. Oh, the boogosphere. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. I have seen several different perceptual explanations about the boogosphere. And when I take one or another on its own, doesn't make a lot of sense. But when I put it all together, it got really juicy, guys. So apparently, there have been these spheres. They come in three sizes. They come in small, which is like the boogosphere. They get a little bit bigger and they come bigger yet. They're always in threes. When we see them in the nighttime sky or even sometimes daytime sky, they appear to be these glowing orbs. And apparently, they have been here for hundreds of thousands of years. And what they do is they are a surveillance system that was set up. Apparently, it's all tied into subterranean realities. Not sure exactly how. Um, Everything I know gives me more questions than answers. So please don't think I'm an expert, but this is what I've learned from my research. A lot of poltergeists, or what we would consider paranormal phenomenon, is actually these spheres. So the smallest ones, which will show up in our homes, in graveyards, all over the place, when they want to discharge the information or the data that they've gathered up to the next size of spheres in that surveillance system, they let off, I think it's gamma radiation, which is not good for people. So, what they do is they create what appears to be a paranormal event. so that people will run towards that and that way of thinking and give a safe distance to the spheres when they're going to power up, become glowing objects, and discharge their information. That information then goes up to the medium kind of spheres, and then that goes up to the highest level of spheres. And I'm not sure if they get bigger or smaller. I might have some of my facts screwed up, but this has been going on forever. And so there's evidence. There's evidence on cave walls. There's evidence from Renaissance paintings. There's evidence in every culture all over the world that these spheres have been with us for a long time. And there's surveillance. So they're, on the one hand, keeping track of what's going on with humanity and the biosphere here on Earth and all that kind of good stuff. But they're also protecting us from nefarious ETs or other ETs that want to come in and basically rape and pillage and enslave. And apparently there are some. I've never met any like that, but apparently there are some threats. And so they're also a protection device for us. And that is what I've learned about the Boogosphere. So, yeah, you can take that, put it in your pipe and smoke it or not. Up to you. Nobody has to agree with me. This is not a cult. So, yeah, let's just take a look at the chat. Uh, Fearlessly says the biggest thing I've learned is loving yourself doesn't have to start with the glass mirror. It can start with the mirror you see in all that surrounds you. Yeah. And you know what? Fearlessly, that sometimes is a bitter pill to swallow because wherever I go, there I am. I'm the common denominator in all my problems. And we may not want to see that, but a certain amount of humbling does need to happen for our spiritual enlightenment, in my opinion. Um, Fearlessly says to Kristen, it's funny you mentioned that. That was the initial thing I saw and found the symbols. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. All of you that are here regularly in the live chat or watch consistently my shows, I believe you're answering a bit of a calling. I think that you have answered something that is literally calling to us, maybe on an etheric level, so we can level up and we can take our place amongst the intergalactical transdimensional community. I agree with that. Kentron says, hello, Karen Holton. Yes, I'm Larry. Hi, Larry. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming to the show. Fearlessly says, I even tried to gaslight myself into believing I only started a few years ago, only to find notebooks from childhood that, in fact, had them along with my college notes that also had them. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. You have very high spiritual energy. You know, another interesting thing, Fearlessly, is you're in, I believe, Edmonton area. I have a niece who lives near Nelson, BC. She also, as a child, would wake up in the morning and draw these very elaborate languages, patterns, symbols, technology. She would just dream about it, wake up, and then jot that down from the time she was very young. And she was inspirational. Her name's Heather. She's also very inspirational in helping me to put it out there, start my podcast and everything. So you're certainly not alone. And yeah, I think we're members of a really cool family. That's what I'm going to say. And I also gaslit myself, which is why it took from 2014 to 2024 for me to finish my book and get it published. So that's 10 years because I sometimes wondered, Karen, you are weirder than weird. But I decided to go with it, and here I am. Kristen says, yes, fearlessly. I relate to the symbols also. It left me feeling unsettled. Well, it always does. Whenever we leave the 3D and we enter into, um, I guess, what I would call the true, the real, which also sort of is attached to fourth and fifth dimensional realities. It is weird. It is unsettling. That's a normal part of the waking up and ascension process, as far as I'm concerned. Um, let's see. Fearlessly says, it's funny you mention that, Karen. I feel the same. I have this almost like emptiness that isn't empty, but not any type of forcefulness or heaviness. Mm. Yeah, whenever I'm supposed to come on my show and give specific information or whatever, inspired to write something or whatever, I feel a pressure until I do it. It's like it bothers me until I do it. And that was the reason for my second book. I did not plan to do a second book. Writing my first book was enough work. I was like nervous wreck by the time I got it published. I didn't know what I was doing. And all that. But then over Christmas last year, I got this overwhelming urge to publish my second book, which is not really much of a book because there's only 2 chapters that have print. The rest is all images, over 250 images that I created with AI at the time. It blew me away because it was like I used an old AI model, one of the first ones that ever came out. And I didn't expect much from it, but it was free, right? So I did it. And it seemed to know what I was looking for, and it produced what I was looking for. And I've got pages and pages of just these beautiful images of hybrid children, ET females, males, beings that look a lot like us, beings that look a lot different. The only thing they all have in common is they're gray. Well, they're not really gray. They appear to be gray because our eyes are limited in the light spectrum on what we're able to see. Probably cats and dogs would be able to see colors that we just don't pick up with our biology. And the different beings that we classify as grays, they can see each other. And, they might look more like in the image behind me. I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. Oh my gosh. This hour's gone by so fast. Let me see. Let me just quickly finish off, catch up on the chat. Fearlessly says, Kristen, I wish I could show you the symbols I've been drawing forever. Like I was floored when I was listening about the Boogosphere, then looked it up and I just sat there in awe because I had to so much time over the years trying to find it where it never quite matched anything else. Though some would say maybe it's a light language, but when I saw the Boogosphere, I was just in awe. You know what, Fearlessly, if you're able to make it on the 11th for the Aliens and Angels podcast, which I'm hoping you will, you may want to bring some of those drawings with you. You may even want to send me copies. I won't share them with anybody, and I could put them up on the screen on the 11th if you want, but no, absolutely no pressure at all. Let's see. Kristen says, fearlessly, absolutely fascinating. It has a feeling to it. Yeah, probably does. And fearlessly says, it's like as a child, I used to sing and talk in a language that wasn't a language. Fast forward to having my own kid who then did the same thing. Yeah, it's cool how it works through the genetics, eh? Okay, let me just try to whip through these and catch up. Fearlessly says, never afraid, only excitement for the Karen that shares even more of her passion and self in 2026. Thank you. Oh my God. It's like I don't need a lot of praise. I'm pretty well grounded in who I am and what I know, but it sure is lovely to find like-minded friends. If I go to the supermarket or I go hang out here in central Alberta where I live, I don't know, people would actually be afraid of me if I talk about this stuff. And I don't want anyone to be afraid, so that's why I don't talk about it too much. I try bringing it up subtly, but nope, it doesn't seem to be the thing for here in the Texas of Canada. Um, let's see. Kristen says, does anyone remember the sphere in California back in the late 60s, early 70s that looked like that? Actually, I remember quite a few of them. over the years, not every year has a sphere in it, but spheres have been around for quite a while. People have been wondering, and then they would always say, oh, it's a hoax, and some high school kids put it together or whatever, whatever. Yeah, they sure don't want the truth getting out there. Whatever's going on here on Earth, guys, they sure don't want the truth coming out. So I'll say that, and then I'll say, follow the money if you want to know what's really going on. Um, let's see. Okay, Larry. Are your guides always with you? Do they always watch you? Are they always close in distance to you? If they are far from you, do they watch you via remote viewing? Well, I'll tell you, things are different in the other dimension or frequential realities, Larry. They don't have time and space the way we do. We're out of time, but I'm going to very quickly tell you guys about another transdimensional experience I had where it was given to me in my dream state as usual. And I went into this building, and this building had many rooms to it and hallways. And I was searching through the hallways and the rooms, and I was aware that some either people or beings came in to the building and they were looking for me, and I didn't want them to find me. And so I kept going through these hallways in these rooms, and finally I realized that I saw something like a portal on one of the walls. And when I went through it, there were stairs going upstairs. So I went up the stairs and I was on the top floor, but everything was different on the top floor. I could see all the rooms, all the hallways, everything below me. And those people or beings that were looking for me couldn't find me because they're stuck on the main floor. And that's like being in the 3D reality. But when you're upstairs, you can see everything and you can go in wherever your intention wants to take you. So if you want to go to planets, if you want to go to the spiritual realms, if you want to go to any of these other realms, I'll just call them loosely, you can just step off and do that. It's a completely different thing. So my guides are aware of me all the time. I may not be aware of them if I'm busy thinking about other things, working on a project, doing a podcast. I may not be, really aware of them, but they've been with me for so long. They are a part of me. And I'm always protected. And I think I told you that in on Messenger. I, for some reason, have a very high level of protection, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm really ordinary. I'm just an ordinary old lady with a loud mouth who's willing and brave enough to go on YouTube. Really, that's it. There's no secret sauce to Karen Holton. I just do what I want to do, and it works. But I know I'm protected. I don't know why, because I'm really not any more special than anyone else. So there's that. Let's see if I missed anything. So there is no time and space in the other dimensional realities. It's only in the 3D we have time and space. And that's why even in the 3D we can do healing on Zoom. We can send prayers out, we can send healings out. And yeah, it's not that weird because people have been praying throughout all of our history, and prayer is transdimensional. It's going from our realm to the spiritual realms generally. And yeah, so I don't know, that's the best I could answer. Let's see. Fearlessly says there's a really cool interview I watched on this IT guy who talks about that and aliens and paranormal and surveillance. Oh, let's see. Well, we're quickly running out of time. I'm going to just quickly rush through these. Kristen says, I've always been a bit of a outside of the normal. I bet most of us are. Oh, yeah. Everybody that's here is weird and proud of it. And Denise says, yeah, big thumbs up. Oh my gosh, I got more in the chat. Okay, I'm going to skip through a few. I'm sorry, you guys. let's just say, Fearlessly says, it's where I honestly have since the moment I found your show, Karen. You have inspired me, and maybe 2026 might be where I find the way to make my sharing a reality. I hope so. So I'm going to have you on my show and get you used to it. And then maybe you will want to step out and do your own, which I would love very much. Okay. Let's see. Sorry. I'm trying to just get through. Oh, that's funny. Your girl's name is the same. Awesome. Whoop. It's a small world. Um, oh, okay. So Fearlessly was saying, oh, that about the emptiness regarding the three eye atlas. Yeah, I did not get a lot of intel. In fact, I didn't get any intel. I was just felt that I'm supposed to keep a neutral stance on it and not say it's this or it's that. And that way I'm letting the quantum field kind of coagulate how it wants, if that makes any sense. Um, let's see. Let's see if we've missed anybody. This is cool. Kristen says, fearlessly, I would love to be able to change colors like an octopus. I imagine some life forms use bioluminescence. You know what? I write about that in my book. You're absolutely right. There are some humanoids who literally can change the pigment in their skin to match their background. In fact, on the big ship, they actually make a bit of a game. It's a social um, a kind of a thing where they will go in and hide, and then you go in and you can see if you can find them. So they have to stay very, very still, and they have to suppress their telepathic thoughts so they don't give away where they are either. It's very, very cool. Let's see. Yes, Kristen says, my guides are always only a thought away. And Fearlessly says, I love you all. Happy New Year's. Ryan just went live, so I wish you all Happy New Year's. I can't wait for 2026. Thanks for making my 2025 amazing. Well, thank you, Fearlessly Phoenixing. You have made my 2025 awesome, along with Kristen and Larry and yeah, Larry's a good soul. He reached out to me on Messenger. I don't usually interact with people on Messenger. I just don't have time. But for some reason, I just felt that he was a very sincere person. And we started corresponding a little bit, and that's about it. So that's about it for the show, guys. I'm sorry, but it's a little bit over time, but it was worth it to spend this New Year's Eve with you. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope that all your dreams and wishes and passions come true in 2026. Don't take the social reality too seriously. It's really important is to keep grounded, keep loving yourself, keep growing and love towards yourself, keep growing and love towards each other. You don't ever have to put yourself in harm's way. So I would say beware of, the narcissistic personality types. You have a right to self-defense, but sometimes with them, the most loving thing you can do is walk away and take good care of yourself. So I'm hoping that you all have much success in 2026. Kristen, thank you so much. And with that, thank you again for everyone who joined me in the live chat. Love all of you very, very much. And we'll see you on Sunday if you're able to come. And we're going to talk about what are we going to talk about on Sunday? Shoot, hang on. Oh, fiddle faddle. I didn't write it down. Okay. Well, it'll be a surprise. Show up Sunday and be amazed. Yeah, there you go. Okay, everybody. Love you so much. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Quantum Guide Show. Become the change that you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to my YouTube and other channels at Karen Holton TV. Click the like button, leave me a comment, and share this podcast with your friends. Read about my true life ET contact in my book called Transdimensional: Meet the New Neighbors, which is now available in Amazon bookstores worldwide. Check out my website at www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you will find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton and also the Aliens and Angels podcast on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.